Hey everybody, welcome back to New Windsor. So before we start, I just wanted to thank you all for coming out to the live stream a couple weeks ago where we built this really awesome commercial district near downtown. Thank you all for the help on that, and thank you for coming out to the live stream. But today, we're going to be building the canal near downtown, just like in Providence, and we're going to be building the university right across the canal. So definitely going to be a big episode, so let's get straight into things. Hopefully you all enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to New Windsor. So we're finally in the video, and it's been a while since the last episode, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've been very busy. I'm still very busy, but I want to finally get this out to you because I realize it's been 3 weeks or more already. So we built this canal. This is what it looks like in downtown Providence, and we're going to expand upon that later in the episode. But right now we're building these docks over here, and these docks, they've got stairs that sort of come down to them. You'll see, we'll build those in just a second. But what I'm doing is I'm just building these individual docks. Like you see, well, in downtown Providence, there's really just one major boardwalk type thing, as you see there. But right now, what I'm doing is I'm just sort of taking a little bit of inspiration from that and going my own direction. So I'm just going to have each building have its own little dock that you get to with stairs, because the height difference requires that I add stairs here. It's sort of weird, but pretty unique at the same time. I think it's interesting. But yeah, so the canals here in downtown Providence, they've got gondolas in them, and it's very confusing because this is America, but there are gondolas. So I assume these gondolas can sort of stop at these little shops or whatever on the water with these docks, and that could be cool. Whatever. I'm just very confused because gondolas in the United States? Whatever. Right now, with these buildings, I'm using these brick buildings that are like these mill, it's this modular mill pack. They're pretty cool. The problem is, some of the sides don't even have windows, which is really confusing, and it bothers me a lot. I didn't actually have many brick buildings to work with when I was making this episode. A bunch just came out in the workshop, so I might actually go in here and change these later, just because they're a lot nicer, the ones in the workshop, in terms of their texturing and stuff. And they have windows. Like, that's the main thing. These don't even have windows, and it's really confusing, and it's awful. But the buildings are nice, and they're brick and stuff, so that's why I like them. But please, creator, put windows on them. With these docks here, I'm adding like a railing type thing over here. I'm using the docks by Ronix, or like the modular pieces or whatever, and then I'm using these ploppable surfaces from the workshop, which are really useful, and I'm using those just to make the actual area people walk on. But just the sides here, I'm adding these little dock pieces by Ronix, and yeah, it's pretty nice. I went really detailed on this episode, actually, which I probably shouldn't have done. But next episode, I don't know exactly what we're going to do. It might be utility related. I was trying to build a train station, actually, but that didn't work out all that well. From the workshop, there's this Philadelphia station, the North Philly station, which is actually really nice, but the problem is, it's really, really glitchy if you ever try to place it down. Like, you can't move anything with Move It on it. You can't move the actual asset. You can't really mess with anything with Move It around the asset. It's really buggy. So until I figure that out, I'm just gonna have to do some other things. But the train station's definitely a plan for the future. Alright, I'm back. So we've been working on this university for a little while, and yeah, it's a big project, to be honest. We're probably only half done with it, with what we get done in this episode. We'll definitely revisit it in the future, but we got most of the groundwork down. We've got a lot more to go, though, in terms of placing buildings and stuff like that. Maybe not twice, you know, what we've got right now. We've got a long way to go, so yeah, I'm using a lot of these Chirper University buildings from the workshop. Those are really useful. And I'm using some of Darf's university buildings as well. Those are really great to capture that New England feel. So I didn't really base this off any specific New England university, but I just wanted to capture the sort of general feel you get with one of these New England universities. Which pretty much means you get all these old brick buildings, and you have a lot of trees and cramped areas. I mean, at least that in specific would be Brown University in Providence. When you look at the streets around there, it's really, really cramped, and I wanted to capture that general feel. I probably went a little bit too light on that, to be honest. I probably should have added more cramped areas, more cramped streets. I can always change it later, and this looks nice, so I like it. And yeah, so this main building here is just a couple actually clipped together from the Chirper University pack. These models are great. You have to use the Vanilla Trees Remover mod, otherwise they look terrible, and they've got the stupid vanilla oak trees on them, and it's awful. So definitely do that, because otherwise they're useless. So, yeah, these clipped together, they look really, really awesome, and that's pretty much what I did. I've got a bunch of these clipped together. Whenever I have a block of buildings, usually multiple buildings clipped together, and that really looks most realistic, because these are small buildings, to be honest, especially when compared to Darf's larger university buildings. They are really the only options in the workshop. I still like them anyway. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave you with some music for a couple minutes and enjoy the footage as I build this green space. Welcome back. So we finished the main green space for the university, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. We used that vanilla statue and some brick decals to make that look, you know, really New England-y and old and historic. That's really something I'm aiming for here. I want this university to have some sort of historic past, and I think that's just definitely something you have to consider when you're making, especially like a New England or a European city. There's always going to be a history to it, and especially with all these old brick buildings, you want to integrate things around them that suggest that. So that's why I added a statue there. Thinking of the story behind something sometimes will help you build it better. So now we're going to begin building the dorms. I only build one row of dorms for this episode here. Once again, the university is just still a work in progress. As we work on this neighborhood in the future, possibly in live streams, maybe we'll expand on this, but I really included most everything that you're going to continue to see around the university. I placed almost every building from the pack, the Chirper University pack, but one thing I have to do is I have to add the sports hall, and I have to add a bunch of sports fields. I think that would definitely be important to add some of those around here, so I'm going to grab some assets for that, and we'll add those in the future. Next episode might be utilities based, because I haven't really done a utilities episode yet, and I'm really tired of putting a random nuclear power plant in the middle of my faraway neighborhoods just to power the city. So yeah, we definitely have to get some utilities going soon. So that's possibly what's going to happen next episode, who knows. Just trying to get the shape of the map and just many of the main features of it, like the university, one of the main landmarks of the city, I guess you could say. I want to get all of those down. Those are really the skeleton of the city, and then we could expand around them. So yeah, these dorms, I'm just adding a lot of detail here. I go really detailed in this episode. I haven't really been going all this detailed recently, or at least with the neighborhoods a couple episodes ago. Those were, they're pretty detailed, just not by hand. So here I'm adding a lot of detail by hand just to really make this university special, because obviously a colonial university like this is going to be a major part of a city in New England, like like Providence or Boston's got a infinitely large amount of universities. So I wanted New Windsor to have one of its own. I unfortunately won't be adding really any more universities in the city. We might reuse these assets at some point in a different way and make a small, like, college or something, but I don't want to make any more universities just because these assets are really all I've got for a New England university, and I don't want to reuse them over and over again. Also, before we continue, I just wanted to mention that off camera, in addition to building that commercial district that I showed you at the beginning of the episode, well, that was on stream, but off camera, I sort of made this massive district in between downtown and the highway, and I sort of did it accidentally. Yeah, I should have recorded that, but I didn't, and I made a massive district. That's like a whole episode's worth of work. But at least we sort of got it done, because that was an area I needed to fill really badly so I could get reasonable cinematics. I'm really happy with that. That's in between downtown and the highway, sort of the interchange we made last episode. It was really hard to build on the slope there, but I think I managed pretty well. Hopefully you're happy with it as well. I'll definitely go into it, in more detail in future cinematics, but this is pretty much what it looks like. I added a Dunkin' Donuts for good measure, because obviously it's New England. You gotta do that. And I didn't have a Dunkin' Donuts in downtown, so had to add one there. It's sort of a neighborhood I made by accident. Hopefully you all like it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you with some music for a couple of minutes. Hopefully you enjoy, and I'll be back pretty soon. Enjoy as we build this neighborhood in between the university and the canal. Alright, we're back. So I showed you what we did over in that neighborhood in between the canal and the university. I sort of showed you the highlights of it because it was a pretty boring neighborhood to make for the most part. What's really exciting is what we're going to be doing right now, which is build these buildings on with the docks and expand on what we did earlier with these docks and shops just on the water. And I'm really, really happy with how this particular set of shops turns out. And I guess one of them isn't really a shop. It's that larger building there is like, it's a hotel. And I really like that there. And it looks great next to downtown. Once again, I'm going off what you see in Providence and putting my own take on it, where rather than having all of the different docks connected to each other, each building or set of buildings has its own dock, and you have to go back up onto the street to get to another dock. Probably not the most efficient thing, and you probably wouldn't really see it in the city. I think it looks cool though, and I wanted to add my own take on things. So, also, it was really annoying working under the bridges. That's like another reason why it was impossible to just connect all those docks. But this looks great regardless, and I'm using the hotel I'm using here is called Hotel Savoy by Lightfooted, and this asset's great. It's brick. I've been using it a lot throughout the city, probably one of my most used larger buildings, and yeah, I've been using that a lot, and I'm using some of the American 1900s commercial buildings as some other buildings here, and I'm clipping them together, and that's working out pretty well too. They're pretty small, so I've needed to combine them together to produce just larger footprints, but they look pretty good regardless. And just I wanted this particular dock to be a lot more active. Unfortunately, I can't actually put Sims here. Like, I can't have, like park people generators or anything. So there's nobody walking around. I could do prop people, but imagine how long that would take. So I don't know if I'm going to do that, but overall, I think it looks pretty cool regardless, because I've never done anything like this, just where I work with surfaces and making custom little docks like this, and it's good practice for when we actually make the docks on the other side of the bay. That'll be in the future, but I want to do like an old shipyard and stuff, and that should be cool. I don't want to make New Windsor like a big port city, but I want it to have a history of being some sort of port city. So that'll be pretty interesting. But we're sort of coming to the end of the episode, so hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It really is appreciated. It helps the video out a ton, helps new people find the video. And, you can leave a dislike too, does the same thing, so I don't really care. Subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notified whenever I upload a video, so that way you'll never miss a new upload. And follow me on Twitter, the link's in the description. I post lots of teasers and updates and stuff like that over there. And follow me on Instagram, where I post some of my best screenshots I like to post on Instagram. So we've got a nice album of New Windsor going over there, and Nevada, which is currently on hold, but that'll come back in the future, hopefully. Other than that, hopefully you all enjoyed, and that's pretty much it for me. Enjoy the cinematics, and I'll see you next time.